Hello everyone, welcome to day 13. I'm going to cover 11, 12, and 13 briefly, what's been happening with me, and go into fact and myth of the day, and then a subject of intermittent fasting, which most people are pretty interested in. So, how am I doing? My metabolism is very low. My resting heart rate has dropped all the way to 43 in some cases. But my blood pressure between the last 3 days has ranged from 90 to 100, more or less, over 60s, which is normal. And but my weight has dropped from 64 kilos down to a low of 62.5 kilos. So that means I'm down to about 139 pounds, and I've lost 10 kilos and 21 pounds, more or less, since I've started. So spoke with Dr. Hines today. He measured my fat levels again. And basically, it's a rough estimate, but I have about 3.5 kilos of fat left. I'm getting down into, in his opinion, low reserves. And both him and Dr. Andre said that I should start considering breaking the fast, and soon. Because my fat reserves were already very low when I started. They said I came in like I had the fat percentage of a marathon runner, which is like 6.5%, and now I'm well below 4%, which is not advised for fasting. So, looks like tomorrow may be my last day of water only, but let's see. We'll check in tomorrow, and I'm headed to the hospital to do a scan, ultrasound, and get a surgeon's opinion on what the ramifications would be to take this out, because it's still here. Even after 14 days, it's persistent, but it's much smaller. So I just wanted to measure the size, make sure it's going down, not growing. And the second thing is I just want that opinion letter to have it for my records. All right, so without further ado, and I apologize for being really low energy, but it's like I'm moving like a turtle. Some of the symptoms I've had thus far, I've had everything from a minor little headache to on my head, dandruff coming out, so maybe yeast. I've had dry skin, definitely coated tongue. You can see it's white, means toxins coming out. Cleaning the body. And I've had rashes, little bumps come out, which is great. I've had a bit of stomach pain and gas, believe it or not, which is nothing going on in there, really crazy. I'm sure something's going on there. Let's see what else. The more and more I got into the fast, the harder it was to go to sleep at night, which is really strange, because I normally sleep extremely well. So not sure what that's about, but restless sleep. All right, and besides that, of course, I have some pain in here, coming and going. It's been discharging every day, the same amount, quite a bit, so which is helping it drain. This fast is obviously boosting my immune system, and it's fighting whatever is going on in there, whether it's bacteria or cancer, or a combination. All right, so let's get into it. Okay, fact of the day. Hair does grow when you're fasting. Clearly, as you can see, it's growing back quite fast. So, what is it using? Well, obviously ketones, fat stores, so which I don't have very little of. But seriously, let's go on to the myth. All right, myth of the day. Fasting causes low blood sugar. I hear that from so many people. Oh, I can't go without food. My stomach will hurt. Oh, my blood sugar will drop, and I'll get dizzy, and I need to eat every 2 hours. That is the worst thing you can do for your insulin and your blood sugar levels. Pretty soon your body gets so confused that it thinks it needs it every 2 hours. This is why snacking is horrible for not only children, but for adults, especially for adults overweight with obesity, diabetes too. Ketones are a superfood for the brain. When the body and brain are fueled primarily with fatty acids and ketones, the brain fog, the mood swings, and the emotional instability that are caused by wild fluctuations of blood sugar normally become a thing of the past. And clear thinking is the new normal. So in order to get to ketosis, obviously you have to go past 36 hours, right? You can get in partial ketosis in intermittent fasting. So basically, this brings us to the subject of intermittent fasting, which I'll cover as quick as I can. So this is a super long video. Intermittent fasting is best for candidates that are usually obese, overweight, want to lose weight, or have diabetes too. Or other, it's beneficial for all issues, but that's the major ones. It's also beneficial for everyone in the sense that it's going back to our roots. It's going back to where we came from. Primarily, we, hunted during the day. We ate one big meal at night. Anyway, I'll get into that diet, but we're not typically used to be snacking all day. And primarily, majority of our food was animal fats. We didn't have any problem with obesity. So it's basically what we're doing. We're eating too much, too often, and the wrong things. So, intermittent fasting, there's lots of choices. Which ones are the best ones for you? Well, I've broken it down, give you a brief description of each. So maybe take out a pencil and a piece of paper, take some notes, or rewatch this. The first one is 5 and 2, which means 5 days of just normal eating, and 2 days of either water only, which is intense for most people because day 2 and 3 are pretty much the hardest, or less than 500 calories a day, 400 for women, on those 2 days. And what they found was it's not so effective. It is during that process of the 2 days because it allows the body really a rest and digestive rest a bit. But what they found was, during the 5 days, the weight would be gained back. So it was kind of a zero-sum game. The next one is a 16 and 8, which means 16 hours of water only and 8 hours of feeding, which is named the lean gains diet. Typically you do 16 hours for men, 14 hours for women, and this works pretty good for a lot of people because you can typically sleep through most of the 16 hours. For example, 8 p.m. you stop, and then 12 p.m. you start again, and so you pretty much skip breakfast. They found it reduced obesity, inflammation, help for diabetes, but it's, everything I researched and what they in the lectures here, I learned that it's not really good to lower ketosis if, especially if fat burning is your goal. But it works. It's beneficial. All right, so the next one is 36 hours, one time per week. Okay, it's a bit intense for some people. So it's just like it's a stop, eat, stop diet. So you choose which day of the week you want to start. For example, if you start on Monday at 8 p.m., you finished. You don't eat anything again until Wednesday morning at 8 a.m. Okay, it's 36 hours, complete rest. At that time, that's exactly when you're going into full ketosis. So it is hard. Not full ketosis, but it's really when the ketones start becoming super active around the 36-hour point. It's pretty effective. Okay, you can check that out for yourself. Now, what is most recommended by me and out of all the research I've done is the 18 and 6 or 20 and 4. And obviously that's 18 hours of water only, 6 hours of eating, or 20 and 4. 20 hours of rest, 20 hours of water only and 4-hour window of eating is also, there's another name for it, which is the warrior diet, which was basically named by the monks and the Spartans and the Romans. Well, I'm not sure about the monks, but I know that the monks do this. But basically it came from the Romans and the Spartans, and they called it the warrior diet. And they ate one large meal before bed in a 4-hour window. And so basically exercise is recommended to be done towards the end of the fasting period, and then you eat after in that 4-hour window. Super beneficial. You get higher levels of ketosis than, of course, the 18 or the 16 or even the 12. So, and the reason, and the funny thing is, I've been doing this naturally, like for the past 5 years. I just naturally, because I'm not hungry in the morning. And it turns out that our insulin levels, like to want to eat, are the lowest at around 750 in the morning. So if we're not feeling too hungry, we shouldn't force our body to have a breakfast. It's actually a bit detrimental. And look at the Mediterraneans. The Mediterraneans have a huge lunch. They take a cat nap, and then they have, kind of some snacks, a light dinner. And they're the healthiest on the planet. So, but basically natural nocturnal eating allows the body to gain nutrients, with the circadian rhythm at night. So there's a reason why it's an ancient ritual, the warrior diet. Yeah, so that's the breakdown. You can look them all up on your own and research individuals, see what's best for you. And that's intermittent fasting. Thanks for your patience, and thanks for being with me on this journey. And I hope you're continually intrigued by fasting in general, health, and how the body regenerates on this fasting. It really regenerates quickly. It regenerates stem cells. I mean, it's incredible, the regeneration of tissue. My gums were just coming out, like the gum disease is coming out. You can scrape it off. It's like white. So it's very regenerative. So we'll see you tomorrow. I am going to post an update tomorrow afternoon after I get back from the hospital. I'll give you the results. And we're going to talk about, the subject will be on breaking the fast, how to do it effectively, safely. And if I'm going to be breaking the fast, then it'll probably be most likely on day 15 per the doctor's instructions. All right, have a beautiful day. See you all tomorrow, and be blessed.